Hi there, and welcome back to another evidence in our series of 1,000 evidences for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In this episode, number 188, we will be talking about the issue of slavery and whether or not the Latter-day Saints condoned it. Some critics have blindly insisted that leaders of the LDS Church condoned and even defended the practice of slavery. Some have assumed that a few slaves accompanied the pioneers in their trek across the plains. However, in a day when slavery was legally accepted institution, when it was protected in the Constitution, when its proponents defended its evils using the Bible, when new territories had the right to enforce slavery under the policy of popular sovereignty, Brigham Young, as governor of the territory of Utah, condemned slavery as a nefarious traffic of savage barbarity. In an address to the representatives of Utah Territory, Brigham Young said, "The practice of purchasing Indian children for slaves is a trade carried on by the Mexican population of New Mexico and California. These traders of late years have extended their traffic into the limits of this territory. This trade they have endeavored to pervert, and this fall, happening to encounter a few of them in my travels as Superintendent of Indian Affairs, strictly prohibit their further traffic. Unfortunately, however, a few of them still are determined to carry on their nefarious traffic. They have been arrested and are now on trial in this city." He further explained that human flesh to be dealt with as property is not consistent or compatible with the true principles of government. My own feelings are that no property can or should be recognized as existing in slaves, either Indian or African. No person can purchase them without their becoming as free so far as natural rights are concerned, as persons of any other color. It seems indeed that any transfer would be to them a relief and benefit. Many a life, he went on to say, by this means is saved. Many a child redeemed from the thraldom of savage barbarity and placed on an equal footing with the more favored portions of the human race. That's according to, as reported in Deseret News, January the 10th, 1852. In October 1861, shortly after the outbreak of the Civil War, which was waged partly over the question of slavery, President Brigham Young sent a message to Abraham Lincoln via the newly completed transcontinental telegraph, stating that Utah was committed to the Constitution of the United States. The message read as follows: "Utah has not succeeded, but is firm for the Constitution and laws of our once happy country." This was in a time when Utah had been petitioning for statehood, while some states were seceding from the Union. Yet in spite of these and other anti-slavery statements made by Brigham Young, some critics continue to falsely claim that President Young supported slavery. They sustain their sophistry by taking some of Brigham Young's statements out of context. For example, President Young sometimes referred to those who obey God's laws as slaves, who are servants of the Lord. It was in this context that he claimed to be a firm believer in slavery. Critics of the church are fond of quoting this statement without its accompanying definitions in order to demonize the character of the prophet. Brigham Young further quoted Elder George A. Smith as saying that he was a slave in that he was driven from his home and his rights. President Young further elaborated on his disdain for slavery by condemning the masters who knock them down and whip them and break the limbs of their servants. He reiterated that every slave originated, that slavery originated by the devil tempting Eve to partake of the forbidden fruit. He said, this was the first production of slavery upon this earth, and there has not been a son or daughter of Adam from that day to this, but what were slaves in the true sense of the word. Every man and woman and child in this territory are citizens, and to say the contrary is all nonsense to me. The Indians are citizens, the Africans are citizens, and the Jews that come from Western Asia, it's our duty to take care of them and administer to them in all acts of citizenship. This was from an address in the joint sessions of the legislature in Salt Lake City on January 23rd, 1852. That's found in Brigham Young Papers, Historical Department of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In 1844, 20 years before the Civil War, Joseph Smith entered the presidential race as a candidate. His campaign statement advocated freeing all the slaves. It read, "Petition also, ye goodly inhabitants of the slave states, your legislators, to abolish slavery by the year 1850 or now." That's found in Times and Seasons, 15th of May, 1844. As mayor of Nauvoo, Joseph Smith supported the propriety of making all colored people free, so that they cannot be carried out of the city unless guilty of a crime. Nauvoo City Council minutes, the December 21st, 1843. This is page 29 of the Nauvoo collection. All of this would set the record straight. The LDS Church is true and governs through the true principles of justice, equity, fairness, and mercy. It has an impeccable history. If you're not a member of the LDS Church, please investigate it and seriously consider joining it and becoming one with us, the saints of the Most High God. We would be happy to have you and your contributions of talents and experience. And remember, call, don't fall. Call on the Lord of love and mercy and unity. Don't fall for the purveyors of lies and gossip and hearsay.